So this spot here next to the house was just a bunch of weeds and briars and a bunch of crap. So I planted some wildflower mixes and they're actually doing quite well. They're blooming. A lot of it is bachelor buttons, some of this I believe coreopsis. But yeah, at least there's something blooming here, something's growing besides weeds. So that does give it a little bit of a wildflower mix. Hopefully the pollinators like it. Hopefully the bees that I'm gonna get will be utilizing this for some nectar and some pollen. Welcome back, guys. It's been a minute, but here we are. As you can tell, we did put up this little temporary rickety deer netting. I was keeping the deer out of the garden so far, but before I could get this deer netting up, as you can kind of tell, this row here used to be all peppers that were healthy and beautiful. However, the deer absolutely got in here and took them out. There are a couple, like this one here, that was kind of nibbled off, but has grown back. So don't give up hope, guys. Deers get to your plants. They will, basically, if there's enough time, it's the right part of the season, will grow back enough. But what I'm really impressed with are my, we'll call a free range, wild, on your own tomato project here. Most of these are Roma tomatoes, which are already putting on some blooms and little baby tomatoes, which is awesome. So definitely, hopefully, we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes at the very, very least. But yeah, that's what's interesting is back in my city house with the garden there, if I put a tomato plant or somehow leave the fence open and a tomato is exposed, the deer there will eat it to the absolute ground. Now, I know I've read online, other places that, you know, deer don't eat nightshades, aka peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, etc. But where I live in the city, absolutely devastation. However, the peppers, they typically will leave the peppers alone, which was played out to be the complete opposite of what happened out here. So more tomatoes, very healthy. This does need to be weeded. I haven't been here for like 2 weeks. It's been crazy, been traveling, there's a lot going on. But I have planted down here, if you can see what this is. And there's another one right there. It's a little bit healthier. I'll show you that. That is cranberry hibiscus or roselle. I've made a video about growing that years ago. It was I made some jam out of it. It was delicious. So I'm definitely trying to grow it out here. It's definitely hot enough and it will take the heat. But yeah, so far so good with the tomatoes here. Peppers, again, here's another, that one's just a weed. Where is it at? Right here's another pepper I saw. Now this one, I believe it's a bell pepper of some sort, but it kind of like struggling. It got nibbled down to the ground, but it, lo and behold, it came back. But yeah, so a lot of replacements were the roselle. You know, several of these plants here grow from seed, of course. That one's doing pretty well. They're in the okra family, I believe, or similar flowers to okra at the very least. If you've ever seen those, give it a shot. It makes delicious jam. You make tea out of the dried calyx of the fruit. Yeah, but for the most part, this little section over here was kind of falling in because the pole that I put in the ground, I'm not sure if a deer was testing the fence or what, but this pole here in the corner, it kind of was falling out. But you know, sometimes things happen just by accident that works out for you. But this giant piece of concrete right here, who knows what it used to be? Maybe held a telephone pole. Oh, I'm trying to say a clothesline, like a clothesline pole or a tether for dogs or goats or horses, I don't know. But anyhow, this concrete just happened to be right there, so I was able to dig it up and roll it onto the actual pole here. And I need to get taller poles, I understand that, but right now this is what I found on the property. So this is a zero purchased fencing. It's outside the actual netting itself I had to purchase, give you that much. But yeah, it does look a little unsightly, but I mean, look at that island of tomatoes right there. That is pretty doggone impressive if you ask me. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a tour, show you what else has been going on here at the farm. Now, these pumpkins here have been uprooted multiple times, replanted multiple times, and the deer just will not leave them alone. But it looks like they may actually have been established this time. Maybe now they've kind of matured past the seedling stage, the deer will leave them alone, but who knows? Something has been digging down here again. I'm gonna say it's probably raccoons or possums or something. I don't know. I do need to get in here and weed this. Do have some blooms. That's pretty cool. What variety is this again? I forget. Oh, I think these are, I don't know. Get these weeds out of here. You can see a little better. But yeah, it's kind of starting to vine out right here. Interesting. This little one down here is alive. You do that. Down here, no pumpkin. That one's dead. That one got eaten. Something happened to it. Who knows? But so the pumpkins project over here is going to be probably not the shining star of this year's garden, but again, this is just a starter. I expect this year to be the absolute worst. Just we got a really late start on the property. It was already way past time to do things. If you're going to start a garden, I prefer to do it in the fall. That's when you can clear the weeds, turn the soil, incorporate your amendments, let it overwinter, and then by spring you can turn it again if you want to, or do the no-till, no-dig, whatever your style is, doesn't matter. But you can go from there and you know, get off to a better start in the spring. This is just more or less native soil down here. That's just, who knows if it's even fertile at all. I don't know, but I'm gonna clear all these weeds up here, mulch them up, and use all this grass as a fertilizer, top dressing, and just hopefully it does a little bit of something. But one of the things that is the shining star this year so far is this right here. You can kind of, as I'm walking it, we're just gonna walk and talk it. We're doing little editing as possible because get you more of the real feel here on the ground. This right here is, these are little Mexican sunflowers, which is not what I intended to show you, but here we are anyways. Mexican sunflowers, Tithonia. These have beautiful orange flowers, attracts monarchs. It's wonderful. But yeah, look at this corn. How this corn is out here unprotected from the deer, and it's absolutely thriving. I have absolutely no idea. If I tried this again in the city, forget it. It's not even, it would be dead before I planted it. So yeah. Oh, look right here. You can kind of tell a bloom. It's already kind of faded off, but right in there. So apparently one bloom has already came and gone. So neat. These are some tomatillos maybe, or these might be sunflowers. I'm not sure. This is another pumpkin. Now this is an actual white pumpkin, I believe. Kind of put it here in the corner of this little bed here to see if it'll grow. Tomato plant next to it. Barely nibbled off, but still alive. It's just crazy to me how the deer are not messing with tomatoes out here. That's insane. They typically just devour tomatoes where I'm from. This is a sunflower, was, what's left of one. These are some more sunflowers throughout here. This is actually a weed. It looks like corn, but it's definitely not. You can tell a difference. Look down here, this is like Johnson grass. How it grows in kind of like a clump like this. And if you don't get it by the roots, guys, it'll always come back. So take your time and rip this out once and for all. It's nasty stuff. It spreads, it chokes out things. But yeah, this is my popcorn. I believe it's Dakota black popcorn. And it is, it's doing awesome. So yeah, and it's really only had what did I do? Cottonseed meal I put onto it, and it has absolutely shot up. Cottonseed meal is the byproduct of, you know, ginning cotton, and it's a nitrogen fertilizer and does a little bit of it for, I believe, to boost acidity, just a little bit. Not so much that you would use it for like blueberries and things like that. But if you hear anybody talking or noise, people are out cutting their hay this time of year. There's tractors going by and people talking, so just how it is. You never can tell what's going to be happening. My service berries right here doing pretty well. They're alive, not eaten to the ground by the deer, so I'm going to give that some thought, that these may be a worthwhile crop to kind of plant more of. I was hoping these wouldn't be sacrifices, but you know what? They're alive, and I'm just going to go with it. More tomatoes here. Always plant more than what you think you may or may not need, because as of right here, this was something, don't know what it was, but there's very clearly some deer tracks, and they were here, and whatever was right here is not here. This might have actually been a pumpkin, quite honestly, or a squash. Interesting. This bed over here is absolute just disaster. This is going to take a lot of work. This soil here is just, as you can tell, this is just this nasty, hard as a rock clay. If it sits in the sun, I mean, this is like nasty. You could build stuff with this. All right, so let alone you're not going to grow corn or healthy vegetables in this at all. But against all the odds, again, some more pumpkins. Here's one here. Here's one here. If you see sporadically see some corn, that's because somehow this little row here survived, whereas this whole area here that was planted, the corn was either killed, eaten by bugs or birds, or who knows what happened. Hard to tell. But although it's difficult to make out right here, this, guys, you know it, that's basil. It's everywhere. Basil likes the heat, the sun. It actually does better in poor soils. A lot of your herbs will actually thrive better in poor soils, as that's what they're native to, like in Greece and Middle East and India, things like that. Hot, dry, depleted soils is actually where a lot of your culinary herbs come from. So give that a shot. If you have a spot like this that nothing else literally will grow, hardly even weeds are growing. I mean, granted, the weeds they're not even growing here either, so who knows. This is my fig tree that I showed you as I planted. This one here, another one over there. They are alive and thriving. Their leaves are dark green now. They were really pale when I first planted them. As I mentioned, there's nothing in this soil worth consuming, so I had to get some fertilizer for them, some fish seaweed stuff. Helped them out. This pumpkin here is running and thriving. I believe these are all white pumpkins. I believe that's what they are. I had an old package. I'm just trying to use them all up. But yeah, that's a little quick peek of what the garden and or survival plot out here is completely on its own. It is thriving in some spots, maybe not so much, but it's what it is. It's 99 degrees out today, having a crazy heat wave here in the east. Yeah, but despite all that, everything here is, like I said, it's on its own, and it is somehow still alive. But there you go. Today's star of the show is this Dakota Black popcorn. Seeds are bought from Baker Creek. Hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Check back later for some more property updates. I'm going to get out of the sun. It is absolutely roasting out. Bye-bye.